Hello, welcome to the lesson. Let me begin straight away by congratulating you on having a brilliant taste in music, because Can't Stop is one of my favourite songs. It is such a cool guitar riff, but I've got to be honest, it's a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing. If you look at the tab, the notes don't seem that difficult, but once you start trying to play it and making it sound authentic, you suddenly realise that there's quite a lot of technique involved in the way that John Frusciante strums up and down on the strings. But I'll explain all that to you in a second. Let me first demonstrate what I'm going to show you. It begins with the intro, which is actually quite simple, but I'll play it to you anyway. Okay, now it's a tricky one. Now, when you were watching me playing that, you might have been wondering what I was doing with my thumb, because a lot of the time I'm using the thumb, just like John Frusciante does, to hold down the sixth string. And in actual fact, you might find that that is the only way of playing the song. So it seems like a bad habit to get into, but I can promise you it's not. There's plenty of legendary guitarists that use their thumb to hold down the sixth string, for example. So let's get on with it. I want to start by showing you this verse section, then I'm going to show you the chords to the chorus, and eventually I'll show you the solo. So the intro is very simple. You want to use your first finger on the fifth string at fret 5, and you're going to pluck and then put the third finger on the fret 7. Now you need to do that 5 times in a row like this. Okay, and what he does, he repeats that whole pattern 8 times. Okay, so I'll just do it a few times for you to get the idea. Okay, so it builds up in volume and eventually he comes in with the main riff. So you want to put your first finger on the 5th string at fret 7. And I'm going to ask you to pluck down and up with the plectrum like this. Now it's very important that you follow what I say, and whenever I tell you to pluck down or up, make sure you follow me precisely, because it will be vitally important to eventually in making the song sound right. So what you're going to do now is put your first finger on the 3rd string at fret 7. And then you're going to put your 3rd finger up to fret 9, still on the 3rd string. So when we join it together, we've got this: down, up, down, down. Okay, now you're going to go back to that root note, the 5th string at fret 7, and you're going to use the plectrum to pluck down, up, down. Now here you're going to go to the 3rd string again, but this time you're going to use the plectrum to pluck upwards. And then you're going to go to fret 9 and you're going to pluck upwards again. Now you're going to go back to the root note and you're going to do this: up, down, up. Okay, so you can see all those notes along the bottom of the screen on the tab, and I've said it once, I'll say it again. Make sure you follow those arrows precisely when I've said go down, up, etc. So let me demonstrate that again. Okay, right, so that's the first section. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is take your little finger and put it onto the 6th string at fret 10. And now you're going to pluck down and then go to the 3rd string at fret 7, the same as before. You're going to pluck down and then down on fret 9. Put your little finger back to where it was on fret 10 on the 6th string. Down, up, down. And the same as before, you're going to go to that 3rd string again at fret 7. You're going to pluck up this time. And then at fret 9, up. And then back to that little finger, up, down, up. So let me demonstrate that. Okay, good. Now, here's the point where we're going to use the thumb. If you want to, you can go ahead and use your first finger. And to be honest, everybody's hands are different. Some people find it easy to put their thumb over the top, others find it difficult. And it's no problem either way, there's always ways of adapting, but I'm going to encourage you to use your thumb. Pluck downwards on the 6th string at fret 7, and then the first finger you can see is already in place, and you're going to pluck down, and then at fret 9, and then back to the thumb, down, up, down, and then up on the first finger on the 3rd string, and then at fret 9, up again, and then back to the thumb for up, down, up. So let me just demonstrate that. Okay, and you can see the pattern is pretty much the same each time, every time we change position. And the last position is this, with the middle finger onto the 6th string at fret 8. And the picking pattern is exactly the same. You pluck down on the 6th string, up on the 3rd string, up at fret 9, back to the 6th string with the middle finger, pluck down, up, down, up on the 3rd string, up at fret 9, and then back to that middle finger for the down, up, down again. Okay, so remember, when you downloaded this video, it also came with a PDF document that you can print out and have it next to you, and all the tab is there with all the arrows, so if you want to have that by your side, you know, I encourage you to do that. Or just rewind the video and watch it as many times as you need to. So let me demonstrate what we've done so far. Okay, so you can hear that's the main riff of the song. Now, I'm going to demonstrate this to you now at full speed. Here goes. Okay, there we go. So that's one for you to practice. It'll take quite a bit of getting used to, that one. It took me a while to learn it myself, okay? So go patient on yourself, but once you've learnt it, it is so much fun to play. So the next thing I want to show you are the chords in the chorus, and we're going to use bar chords. So if you put your bar on fret 3 across all the strings with your first finger, the middle finger is now on the 3rd string at fret 4, and then these two fingers are on the 5th string and the 4th string, both at fret 5. So what we've got there is a G chord, or G major. So you're going to strum all the strings. And remember, if you think back to the free 12-part E course that I gave you, one of the lessons was about bar chords. So if you want to go back to that and refresh your memory, I encourage you to do that. And if you haven't seen the course, go and look at it because it's free. Right, so the next chord is the D chord. So the bar is now at fret 5. And you're going to use your 3rd finger to hold down strings 4, 3 and 2. So it's doing like a mini bar there. And what you're going to do with the plectrum is just strum the 5th string downwards, not using the 6th string at all. And we get that sound. So let me just go from the G to the D. Okay, so the next one is a B minor. And it's quite easy, this one. It's a bar at fret 7. And just the two fingers. We got the 3rd finger there on the 5th string at fret 9, and the little fingers on the 4th string at fret 9. Now, I'll remind you again, as with all chords, you want to arch these fingers up because there should be enough space underneath for the other strings to go. And the back of these fingers should not be accidentally touching the wrong string. So when you pluck all the notes, they should sound crystal clear like this. Okay, just checking. Right, now the next chord, the best way of playing it, which is the way John Frusciante does it in the Red Hot Chili Peppers, is to do this chord, which is called C major 7. Now, it does involve the thumb, and if you've got a problem with that, in a second I'll show you an alternate way of doing it, but it's not exactly the same chord. So what you need to do is use your first finger on fret 7 on the 1st string, and then the middle finger on the 2nd string at fret 8, 3rd finger on fret 9, on the 3rd string, and the little finger on the 4th string, fret 10. So they're all in a row, one string each and one fret apart. And now the thumb comes onto the 6th string at fret 8, okay? So make sure it is on fret 8. And the tip of the thumb is just touching the 5th string, just enough to mute it, because we don't actually want to hear the 5th string. So when we strum the notes, all the strings, we should hear this. Okay, so that is the C major 7. Now, if you've got a problem getting your hands around that, I suggest you just do this with a bar at fret 8 and a normal type of major shape, which is when you use the middle finger on the 3rd string and then these 2 fingers on the 5th and 4th string. But I'm going to demonstrate it now with the C major 7 chord, so just watch. And again. Okay, so in the chorus, he actually repeats those 4 chords 4 times, okay, and that creates one chorus. There we go, that's brilliant. Now, there is another section of this song, which is when they do what sounds to me like a type of reggae strumming pattern, which is when they're strumming off of the beat. Because remember, with music, you've got 4 beats in a bar. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But in between each beat, you've got what we call the and beat or the off beat. And you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and in between. Now, what they're going to do is strum on the in between beat. So after beat 1, they strum and. So what this sounds like is this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when you play it on its own, the rhythm doesn't really make much sense to the ear, but when you hear it in the context with the drums and the bass guitar and the vocals, it all seems to fall into place. So the chord you want to use is the E minor chord. That's a bar at fret 7, middle finger on the 2nd string at fret 8, and then these 2 fingers on strings 4 and 3, both at fret 9. So you're going to do 4 sharp strums. And the way I'm making the note short and sharp, I'm strumming, and as soon as I've strummed, I'm releasing the pressure from the bar, just enough that it stops the note, like this. And you can just see my hand just lift the pressure from the strings. And that's enough to cut it off. So the next chord is the D. What you've got there is a bar on fret 5, and the mini bar, cross strings 4, 3 and 2. Okay, there you go. And by the way, on these chords, we're not using the 6th string, and the tip of my finger is touching the 6th string, just enough to mute it so we can't hear it. And finally, a B minor chord played with a bar at fret 2, the middle finger on the 3rd string, and then these 2 fingers on the 4th and 3rd string at fret 4. And then finally, the bar at fret 3 for a C chord with a mini bar, like that. And what we're going to do is strum 3 times, and for the 4th time we're going to move up 2 frets, so the bar's now on a D chord. So when we join all that together, it sounds like this. Okay, so that's that section of the song, and it repeats that 4 times. Good. So lastly, I want to show you the solo. So we want to create the rock sound. So if you look on your amp, you can turn the gain knob up to create the distorted sound. Or some amps have a button that you can press called overdrive or distortion or channel select. So we can get this sort of sound. Okay, so if you go to the 2nd string at fret 15, and you're going to use your 3rd finger, and we're going to bend the string. So what I suggest is you use these other 2 fingers to help push. Okay, that'll take a bit of practice. And then you're going to pluck again. And then you're going to bring the fingers back down so you're not bending it anymore, and you're going to pluck again. So it's 3 plucks. So it's 2 bends and then 1 normal. And you can see I'm wiggling my fingers to create that vibrato effect. But I taught you how to do that in the free 12-part course. And then you're going to play the 2nd string at fret 15 again. And then go off to fret 12 on your 1st finger. And then you're going to play fret 12 again. And then the 3rd string at fret 12. So it goes like this. Okay, and then the second part is similar but different. You're going to bend at fret 15 again on the 2nd string. And then you're going to move your fingers up, so you're now holding down fret 17, and you're going to bend up and down. And then you're going to go off to the 1st finger on fret 15. And then I'm going to move back because I want to bend that note again now at fret 15. And then I'm going to go off to the 2nd string at fret 12. So let me just demonstrate that to you. Starting at fret 15, moving up to 17, off to 15, and then bend, off to 12. And then finish by playing 2nd string at fret 15 again, 3rd string at fret 14, off to fret 12. So I'll play that through for you again at slow speed. Okay, there you go. So you've got all the components there for the whole song. It's a tricky piece, it's quite advanced, it's going to take you a lot of practice to get the hang of it, but what a cool song. So what I suggest you do is go and get on with it now. Print out that tab so you got it right next to you, and watch this video over and over again, really practice it, really learn it, and it'll be worth it in the end. So thanks very much for joining me in the lesson. Good luck with learning Can't Stop, and I look forward to seeing you soon in one of the other V guitar lessons. Okay, bye-bye.